look, we're making the new counterculture, whether they want it or not. So who's going to run the non-woke answer to Newsarama or the non-autistic IGN?
Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. He's the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who's running IronAge.media, creating Anvil, the anthology.
Iron Age.
Iron Age. Who even knows?
Iron Age. Yeah.
My next co-host, the man who will absolutely make you change. And by making you change, what I mean by that is he is going to help you change from having that story in your head to putting it on paper and putting it into people's hands. And this is the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel P. Riley of whimsyland.org.
Number one Iron Age Booty Daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Royce. Welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. I am buying a goat. I love goat. We have a show this evening, or we don't, and it all stops here. That's fine. And so cometh the Iron Age of media. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. What's going on, everybody? Oh my God. I almost said Sunday Coffee, then I almost said Comic Shop Wednesday, and then I was like, no, there's another one in there somewhere. What's going on, everybody? Oh, good Lord. Man, I'm very, very excited for the show this evening. We have an absolutely fantastic guest. I think that I think that there's a what.
Already off the rails very quick here.
Is that the thing women want to choose over men?
Good.
Big James.
Good Lord. Well, before we get too far into it, I want to say welcome to everybody in the chat. What's going on? We've got Frequency Studios and Garham over on the Mean Green website. We have got Gorilla Mar. It's good to see you. Horizon Talker, how you doing? Madness Comic Network. What's going on? Wolfsbane Comics. Oh, good Lord. We got Redoubt Productions as well in here. It's good to see you. Wrangler, how's it going, man? Garham. Oh, wait, no, I already said No, he's double dipping. Okay, never mind. We've got whimsyland.org.
Hi.
Wyatt Hilbert, what's going on? I tell you, don't associate with the chat. You don't listen. Liu, what's going on, man? Brian McCoppin, what's up? Crystal Inc. I think I said that right. What's going on, man? It's good to see. That's a name that I am not familiar with. Good to see everybody. AS Bernard's down there as well. And hello to any lurkers that might be there. I love saying hello to the lurkers because it ruins their lurk. And before we go too much further, I want to remind everybody that I do have a brand new I Support Indie Creators t-shirt out right now. And again, I would love to get that out into the world because I think it would be really cool for everybody to go out into the world and wear this. Mine is on the way. I just got the notification it shipped today. I was hoping it was going to be here already, but it's not. So, yes, I will have to wear it probably next week. But, yes, the I Support Indie Creators t-shirt, so that way you guys can go out and inspire conversations in the real world. I really, really, really want to. I'm going to push this forward more as more and more shirts come out and as more and more creators get in on this. I think I've got an idea for how I could get some collaborations on this too. We'll see in the future, but guys, go check that out. And if you guys are the type who like to send in super chats and you know that this channel is not monetized yet, there is a direct donation link for the PayPal link. So if you guys want to send in super chats and make fun of me that way, because some people like to do that, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, just hang out in the chat, enjoy the conversation. And Richard, how you doing, good sir?
Good. Just busy week. Been taking care of a lot of different things and trying to think if there's anything really terribly interesting that I can talk about with Anvil issue number 4 still coming along. I had a nice live stream with John A. Douglas and Sean Korsgaard and Jacob Kalta and a bunch of other folks from issue number 4 over on his channel.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Because I'm already starting to gear up for art for number 5, and then submissions are coming in for number 6, and I'm like, my brain's starting to gel there for a bit. That this is what happens. I need to work on getting this so that it doesn't always line up exactly where I'm dealing with 3 issues at a time.
That would be. Yeah, I don't know how you do that, to be perfectly honest.
I don't do it well, that's for sure. No, I'm trying
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, right.
It's like every week you're just like, yeah, I've got 17 and a half projects on top of the other 17 and a half that I already had. So at least I'm at an even 35 now. It's like,
yes, exactly. Yeah,
dude.
I like to keep my projects in bundles of 7 neglected projects at a time. So
there you Oh God. Oh dude. Well, I mean, it sounds like everything's moving forward though, and it's doing well, so that's good. Oh,
yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
So yeah, but aside from that, just the usual excitement.
There you go. There you go. I think I got bitten by a mosquito in my ear, and that is the most unpleasant place to get bitten by a mosquito.
That's pretty bad. I had a mosquito bite on the outside of my ear, and even that was very unfun because you know when you got like the cartilage there, and it's just yeah,
and you can't. Yeah, no, mine's like right on the earlobe, and like it's all.
It's like what were you doing? What were you doing, mosquito? I mean, I don't understand how this works. There's no blood there.
I don't know. Some mosquitoes are just, I don't know. Anyway, before we go down that diatribe, Daniel P. Riley, how's it going, man? How you doing this
morning? Well, I think your mosquito got lost in the beer miasma and just missed. Natural deterrent system.
You might not be wrong, okay? So some beer miasma. It's say it like that.
I have to say it like that. It's 50-cent word.
And
this is Big James, by the way, from Path of the Pale Rider.
Oh, there you go. That's freaking cool. I was like, what the hell am I seeing on screen?
Big James, my new friend.
That's freaking awesome.
I have a couple of announcements, finally. Yes. Earlier today, many of you saw I posted an article on X looking to get some gauge some interest in the Crenshaw 5 children's stories. If you haven't had a chance to check it out on my profile, and leave me your comments, please. I really want to know how much time I should devote to something like this, because it's going to be a long project. It's children's books, so it's a bunch of them I need to write before I even start manufacturing them. But on the manufacturing side, the campaign for 2 will be starting. G-Sedai issue number 2 will be starting on the first week of June.
That's awesome.
All set, getting ready to put that all together. I've got a fantastic trailer already being worked on by a really cool video artist. And books, the pages are all done, both standard and the color pop. So we're ready to rock and roll. By like, I think the middle of next week, I should have the last variant cover, and it'll be really exciting to share who my variant cover artists for this one are, because I'm really excited about them. And most likely by the end of June, G-Sedai 1 novel will be in audiobook format and available for purchase.
That's freaking cool, dude. That's really freaking cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome.
The guy who's been working on it is fantastic. Love his voice, and I really enjoyed. Like, I thought I was going to have issues like Blaine was talking about last week, but once I started getting the chapters, and I'm like, he really sounds amazing, and I think he makes the book even better because he sounds amazing.
That's awesome, dude. That's freaking awesome, man. Well, fuck yeah, dude. Congrats. That's awesome. See, there's the other 17 and a half projects that somebody else is doing. But all right, so before we go on to all of those other projects, it is time to introduce our fantastic guest this evening, the guy who wrote this book right here. And I'm going to be honest, I had an unbelievable time reading this. Every time I get a new indie book or anything like that, I go into it thinking, please don't suck. This was the opposite of that. This is probably I would say this is probably tied for my favorite thing that I've read out of the indie space, for the indie stuff that I've read. Like, I really had a good time with this. Hero Darky Dark, how you doing, man?
Hey, yeah, I have no idea who Hero Darky Dark is. I'm a random 9-to-5 worker. He just bring me up. I'm joking. Hey, what's up, guys? Hero Darky Dark here, the hero you don't need, but deserve. Yeah, I think I said that right. Here to bring content to all. How you doing, everyone?
Doing well, man. Doing well.
Good.
So I've got to ask the pivotal first question that I ask. Obviously, you've got Relentlessly Bullied Hero #1, and we know that a lot of people get their start earlier in life, not with just the releases that we have in our hands today. But where did you get your start with all this? What made you want to start writing stories and pushing for I mean this book, which is, like I said, just freaking phenomenal. So
For me, I guess my journey kind of started when I was a child, when I watched Dragon Ball Z. You know how it goes. You're young, and then you just watch a show, and you just become so invested about it that you kind of start just mimicking characters. So, trying to go Super Saiyan, doing the Kamehameha waves. Thankfully, I have siblings. I have those to go with. Always buy the games, and then eventually, I guess for me, it kind of like developing that to just going, okay, so if I was in this world, like if I was in Naruto, what kind of element of jutsu I'll have? And from there, it kind of just keep on growing and growing, and then eventually, you depending on the type of person you are, you hit a point where just like, okay, do I want to keep on playing in someone else's playground, or do I want to make my own? And so from there, I kind of started, making up my own stories and adventures. They weren't really good. It was more just, I just thought of a cool fight scene. I just went from there. But, it's still a story. And I think it was around high school. One of my elective classes, they had us do it was a assignment where we had to write a story. So I just wrote one for fun. I was hoping at English and writing back then. So I just wrote one for fun where it was like a horror story to where my class went on a field trip, and then long story short, we went to a haunted house, and it turns out that I was the killer the whole time and all that stuff. And surprisingly, the entire class loved it. Like, they loved it so much that even though it was supposed to be like a quick presentation thing, nearly everyone in the class would run to stay after the class just to hear the end of the story. That's how best they were. So from that, I was just like, huh. So it seemed like I can actually do something. And then from there, it was just like a slow journey, actually trying to learn how to write, writing like little chapters here and there. And then, of course, I ran into like the biggest problem that probably a lot of creative run into, of realizing I can't draw for shit. So, eventually I kind of had to settle, like,
stay in your lane, stick with the words.
Yep. I tried writing a light novel once. I did like a few chapters, but I kind of got a little bit bored with it. I tried some other stuff. Did some YouTube videos here and there. And then eventually, I started to probably more into comics again as I grew up, got a job. Now I actually have money to buy stuff with. That's awesome. More money than usual, because I had jobs before, like in high school and such, but they were like, minimum wage stuff. I can barely get food at Five Guys for that. But I actually got like a more real job to where I can buy $1,000 computer and not be completely broke.
That's awesome.
I just started making my way up, and then of course from there I just did research to look up, okay, how do I make comics, different type of techniques, how do you format it? Because of course, like I said, I tried doing light novels before, so I'm more used to like writing books and novels and stuff. So I had a foresight knowing, okay, I can't just do the same thing because two different things. And so I had to look up a lot of videos and such, see how people are expecting, what are the expectations and such. And then from there, just a slow grind until I found a good artist, made a script, and then here we are. Sorry if I kept on rambling. I'm a
dude. No, it's your show, man. We still got a few hours to kill, dude.
Keep talking, Roy says.
Yeah. No, dude, I remember when you teased this in like December. Because I think you were going to go live with it in January, or you teased it, on Comic Shop Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like clicking on it because I was like, I'm going to pick this project just because it looks, it looks really funny and really endearing. And I click on it, it was like, oh, you got to wait for it. And I was like, oh, I hate this guy now. Like I really wanted to look at this project, and now I can't see it for another month and a half. And I was like, wow. It just seems like a good premise, I really want people to read this thing, but I also want you to talk about it because, and I don't really know where to go with that. So can you still pick it up, or is it done, or is it out of print? Is there any way that you're looking for printing in the future? Like, can I post a link that people can go and check it out?
So at the current moment, of course, as I'm doing like number 2, number 3 and stuff, they'll be available at the right. At the moment, I'm working with Amazon to get it on there, so that's more available for people who want the physical stuff. If you find one digital, it's up on Global Comics. Actually, up there. I even mess with the function a little bit. They have something called like an interactive panel thing where you can dedicate panel to panel. How do you want people to read it through? Oh, yep, there it is. So if you want just the digital version, just to see, you can read like the first 15 pages for free. It was 15 or 17 pages, one or two. So you can read it for free, so you can see it, get a good feel of the story. Chapter number 1 is 60 pages. So a lot of stuff, and yeah.
I think within 5 pages, people buy the book. It was that good. I felt very, very familiar. Not just the artwork itself, but you could definitely tell that you grew up, an anime fan, and there are a lot of similar characteristics to a lot of, shonen protagonists in there. And I just think that's freaking great,
sure.
dude.
Like I say that between comics and anime was the one that I was the most into. Of course, I was into like a lot of comic stuff, Status Shock, Spectacular Spider-Man, Just League Unlimited, all that stuff was a part of it. But, of course, it was a little bit less fun to find the comics to read. Of course, I managed to read like a good amount of comics, like Green Lantern's Black Knight, still one of my favorite stories, and so on and so forth. But for anime and manga, it was a lot easier to like read and watch because it was always on YouTube. And a lot of people might relate to this, but I remember being young and not knowing there were like other sites you can watch anime on. But I'll be on YouTube watching those part 1, the 3 parts of anime episodes. Just catch up.
Remember that.
Yeah, that was a fun time for me.
That was a long time ago before they stopped doing that. I remember that.
Oh yeah, and then of course, eventually I found out that a lot of these animes I watched actually were in book form. So I was like, wait, so this actually came from a book? And then, of course, you'll look up the book to read and then just keep going from there. So I'd say I was much more embedded into manga or comics. So I guess a lot of that wore off on me.
Oh, dude, I could tell, but in a good way. And like I said, I've been telling everybody, this is like if Izuku Midoriya and Asta from Black Clover did the fusion dance, and then my Valentine from Yu-Gi-Oh was a big titty goth girl. Like, that is, after reading it, and that's just because when I'm reading stuff, like I associate voices from different people that I've heard, and that just kind of becomes that character. It's like, oh yeah, this voice actor would obviously play this character, and that's just kind of how everything merged in my head, and I freaking loved it, dude. It was the hero is the guy that you root for, and he's just in a predicament. And I love that. I love that. He is definitely. I really want people to go check this out, so I don't want you to give away too many spoilers. But what So okay, but I think one of the things we can do is because people have checked out the interiors and stuff on the on like the Kickstarter and the Fund My Comics. So you got a great freaking artist for this. Like your artist knocked it out of the park.
He's great. Joe Sadaboo, he is absolutely wonderful. Great guy to work with, always responsive. You know, of course, he does the art because I can't drop a shit for now. But from there, you know, we just kind of work together. Of course, I'll make the script. A good amount of character design I'll give to him because usually I will have Gundam like commissioned from like someone else ahead of time to help save him time from having to create things from scratch one and all that stuff. But you know, of course, you know, he'll make the sketch. That's what I'm looking for. He'll make the sketch. I'll look over it, and then yeah, I'll talk to him. Thankfully for my script, as I said, I write novels, so I use what I learned from novels about being the script and stuff, and then we'll use that in the script to give more of a vibe of what I'm going for to make things more attractive. Of course, if you write he punched a guy, well, someone could take that like a million different ways. It can be, you know, pretty bland, or it can be more than that. But if you do stuff like, you know, describe how even though half his whip is broken, he still musts up all he can to throw out his fist, it can help get the artist a little bit more hyped up, because now they get the feeling, the tone, intensities. And of course, you know, when I look over the sketch and the line, I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, how about can you try doing this because of XYZ? Or hey, you know, DD can be able to extend this so it can feel more like he's struggling here and that stuff. And here we go.
Dude, it's did you have a style that you gave him, or did you just find him because of the style, or were you like, hey, I kind of want it to look like this, or did you just kind of let him do his thing?
I like to let my artist cook, as I feel like that'll be the best way for them to fully express themselves. Because, you know, even from what I know from drawing, it's like if you have a style, you kind of have a style, it's gonna be a little bit harder to switch up, especially if you have things like time limits such. So of course I had to style manga and stuff in my head. So when I saw his stuff, I was just like, yeah, I think this can work. And so of course I was just like, all right, so you know, here's my ideas, cook, and then he delivers.
Dude, that's freaking awesome, man. Like I said, and this, I mean, so for guys out there who are definitely more into the manga, I think, do you think this is like a good like Western, like, because it's a manga style Western comic? Do you think this would be a good, like, because there's a lot of guys that they prefer manga to comics. You think you could bridge that gap? You think you could kind of get both people going after it? I mean, I think you could, but I mean, is that something that you've thought about?
I wouldn't exactly say I thought about it. I'm more of a screw you, I do what I want kind of person. Because yeah, at the end of the day, if you're gonna make a book and I'm gonna put money into it, I might as well make sure it fit my vision than, you know, overly trying to appeal to people. Because, you know, at the end of the day, you're gonna buy it or you're not gonna buy it. So might as well make sure it's gonna be something that you're proud of putting out there, so that whoever buy it knows you're getting your unique style and such. And so I wouldn't say I was going for it, but I definitely do think it can work with it. You know, of course, it's reading left to right, you know, the correct way of reading things, so it'll be a lot easier.
Yes! Oh, you had
I
to
thought
do
the
it.
same thing. Oh, there was a post somebody put up on X and was like, sell me your comic as poorly as possible. So I posted, white guy tries to make a manga but can't handle the right to left formatting.
That's hilarious. But yeah, and of course, other stuff. Of course, you know, for manga, they're made from Japanese people. So of course, you know, their Japanese culture and what their experience such of influence about how they portray things like average life and such, which, you know, of course works for them, and that's what makes a lot of people interesting since it's such a different culture and stuff. So of course, you know, me being from the West, you know, I can put that into my own stuff, as you know, of course, have you seen in the world, it's more like a modern city. Of course, some people can be rowdy, some people can be a little bit stupid. There's less worry about causing mayhem in public because it's America. Just look at New York. That's like a that's like a burning trash fight right there. So it's like, all right, yeah, you can put that. So there'll be like more of a Western influence at it that you can enjoy to it. Of course, it still got that shonen action feeling manga. Of course, that was I love action. I basically can barely enjoy most media about action. So of course, if you like action, is there, and with the dynamics between the two main people, it also can interest you as since it's I get to say a little bit more dynamic than your average manga and shonen, to where instead of it just being okay, girl like guy or guy like girl, and then everything else is kind of like okay, no, like that relationship is a little bit more of a focus because of the situation he's in. So I say, yeah, it can definitely be something that can reach a lot of Western people, but still have that manga style. And even same with Japanese people, because not like Japanese people doesn't like Western things. Manga was inspired by comics, so
right.
I say it's be like that good, decent midway point.
Absolutely. Kind of the same thoughts I had when I was doing mine.
I was gonna say you guys have very. I mean, if you hold them both up next to each other, because I can do that now.
Perfection.
Nothing happened.
Liar.
But yeah, actually, let's blow this up. But yeah, if I can do that, you guys can
Eat
obviously.
Chuck.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna have to pick some stuff up. But yeah, I mean, you can see those actually look really good next to each other. They're like a bundle pack or something.
Mm-hmm.
But no, but I mean, you can definitely.
I like
see
that some of the colors, because of your green screen, it looks like there's holes in my comic.
I know. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I have the green screen going. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I totally. Yeah. Hey, that makes sense. I'll have to turn the green screen off.
I think it's pretty cool. I'm like, wait, can I make a comic with holes in it? Maybe.
I'm gonna pick stuff up now. I'll be back. I got things and stuff, and it's. I'll be back.
The avalanche fell finally.
Excellent. All right, so now that he's gone, the government's lying to you. The birds are just spy cameras. You can take them home; they won't stop.
We know.
I would say this is.
I've replaced the batteries in more than a few.
Very acceptable opinions.
Yep. Let's see. Barack Obama does not like black people.
They're a little more spicy.
That's.
I'm
just,
sorry. I thought about saying that on stream like 3 hours ago, and I'm the type of person where it's hard for me not to dismay when I think of a joke.
Love it.
So, I guess. Well, I don't want to steal any of Royce's questions here, but
oh, do it.
Well, I was just gonna say with
he won't miss him.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I still will ask what I already had in mind, which is, as far as Relentlessly Bullied Hero overall, what's your long-term vision for this, and how long do you think you're going to do this? Is this something that you think after you get done with this arc, are you going to keep rolling with like new characters, or do you think that the story just continues?
I say it's kind of funny how it goes. Cause of course, I was working on what's going to be my first book, as it's kind of like you kind of as a creator kind of have to, in a sense, temper your expectations and ambition. Because I could try to like make my own, Lord of the Rings all-time Odyssey classics and stuff, but I think what a lot of people miss about Tolkien is that Lord of the Rings wasn't his first work. He made a bunch of other stuff, wrote dictionaries and such. So, in a sense, I'll just think to myself, okay, maybe I shouldn't overly worry about, all this, mega all-star, 1,000 chapter One Piece style story and such. And maybe I should start something that's, I won't say it's small, but can be decently self-contained. But if a lot of people really like it, I can easily extend it to what it needs to be, as there's going to be enough stuff to expand on without seeming like it's last second edition and go on and on for. Because, I kind of have both versions in my head to where there's one version where just like, okay, if it's very barely of a flick on a thing, okay, I can probably wrap up in like, 4 chapters and such. But if people really like it and it's actually like decently popular, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can definitely keep it going for like 20 plus and such, and all with like a decent story and such. And of course, that amount kind of grow and shrink depending on me thinking, okay, does that arc or story really need the entire chapter to it, or could it easily just be like 1/3 of one, and I can still add other stuff onto it?
I mean, I think it was it? I'm not sure if it was from today or yesterday that you were talking about the views that you got on Global Comics. I mean, it seems like you're doing well. Have you, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, has that translated into like a pretty good start for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, I'm completely blown away. Like before I even started, I only had like 200, probably less than followers on Twitter. Basically no, like only 100 subscribed on YouTube, and that wasn't even for Comic Strike. That was for like a King in the Short video I did and such. Like I said, first book, so there was no background, no reason to people to trust I can actually deliver a book and such. So, the amount of support and what came out of just issue number 1 kind of surprised me. Cause I was just kind of thinking to myself, okay, it's gonna be issue 1. I can, get it out there. And then, yeah, sure, it may not get like the biggest of splashes, but at least it'll be something there that I can prove that one, I can actually make it decent, and then actually get it out there. No, you won't have to wait like 2-3 years for your book. I'll actually get it out in time. And then, as I keep on doing more issues, it'll get more attention. I can be like, oh, hey, here's like 2 other books and such. But with this explosion, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is definitely going to be something I'll be sticking to, as it seems like a lot of people really enjoy it. Because, like, it's from the way it's structured, I can use it in so many situations that it's profitable to me. I think what helped it like make that explosion, or well, I guess it's explosion, if you consider 5,000 views an explosion, but I think what helped make it get that number is that there was a post talking about how young men are now becoming like more attracted to like older women or something like that. And so as a joke, I just posted under it the picture of those 2 together. And then all of a sudden, that's just started getting like hundreds and hundreds of likes and stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness. And then they'll ask me, oh, hey, who is this? Where they're from? And I was just like, oh, Relentlessly Bullied Hero. Hey, it's on Global Comics. You can read it for free. And next thing I know, it was like the next day, I'm at work and I got a text, well, not a text, but a message for someone. And it was just like, oh yeah, I just saw someone on Instagram talk about your book. I'm just like, hey, whoa, this kind of ran a little bit out of my
you never know what's gonna pop off,
dude. I mean, it's genuinely. I had my wife read it. I got done with it and I walked upstairs and I was like, you need to read this right now. I want to know what you think. And my system is always a buy or do not buy. My wife and I both agree. We are buying the second one when it goes, as long as we have the funds for it. And I asked my wife, I was like, so like, if you had to give it like a rating, because a lot of people, like my wife said to her, it was a really good 7.5, maybe 8 out of 10 for her.
I'll take it.
So like, you're getting praise for a reason. Like, and I really want the chat to understand what I'm saying here, guys. Like, this is a surprise. I think Crimson Law, didn't you say you read it as well? Like, I mean, guys, this is a surprisingly good book. And again, I always go into the books with kind of nervous, like, okay, what am I about to get into? And within a few pages, I was like, sold. Just you absolutely deserve the praise that you're getting.
Yeah, because I remember when as I was going to print and stuff, I had a little bit of worry. Like I said, first book, when you create it in your head, it always seems good, but as you start going more into it, you start worrying, okay, but will others see it this way? Is it good because I have basically like the entire encyclopedia in my head, or is it good because what's in the book itself is actually good? And will other people actually like get my humor, get my posting, and all that other stuff? And because it can be a little bit intimidating, especially if like I said, you don't have too much experience with it. But of course, as I said, I was kind of just like, it's good. I'll do what I want. If it turns out good, good. If it's still good, I still believe it's good. Also, when I put it out, I will have made like a change of the script. But if it's like a decent, 6, 7, I'm like, okay, well, it's number one. Number one can be hard for people and such. But hey, with how it's been, coming out, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I actually cooked with this one. And it's like, of course, once I actually got the printing book and I actually saw how it came out in print, I was like, oh wow, this is actually a lot more better and such than just reading online. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see how it goes. And then since then, it's just been nothing but love for it. And I'm actually like kind of just happy for it since, like I said, I tempered my expectations. So I was just like, okay, yeah, probably take me to at least like, book 2 or 3 to really get people, because I can sometimes struggle with book 1 because like, okay, not only do I have to make a plot to get people, but I also need to set at least in a sense some status quo or flow to it, and then all this other stuff. And of course, since a lot of this is me funding it for creation before it goes on crowdfunding, it's like, okay, but I also gotta pace myself. I gotta work when these time constraints and all this other stuff. So I'm just really happy with how it came out. Because for me, when I worked on stuff, I kind of have a few rules for like issue number 1. It's like, okay, if I'm doing issue 1, I gotta do like 3 different things. Either A, the setting of the place is so interesting, it'll make people come back for number 2. B, either the plot, the events happen in it, that'll make people come back. Or C, probably like a character dynamic that'll make people come back. And it's like, okay, there's gotta be something. The start may not be the best, but there gotta be something, some slide that can make people go like, yeah, I want to see at least a little bit into it. And then that way it'll be a lot easier to dive into stuff for like issue 2, issue 3 and stuff. And then it's like, okay, if you're on issue 2, you probably already got the basics of it. Let's go, let's rock. I don't have to, kind of waste time and stuff. You can just go right into stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm posting the book in the chats. Anne was just asking about it. Hail, Anne, by the way. And some people are saying some good things about it. So, a lot of people, I think a lot of people that all of us have been talking to lately have all been saying, yeah, we're all making sure it's done before we push it out. Like that's been a really strong sentiment, especially with everybody here on the channel. Yeah, I know you're doing it. I know Richard, I know you're like before you even really go live and stuff like that, you pretty much have everything mapped out as well.
Yeah, I have everything mapped out. My goal is to get farther ahead on the art, but the art delays have been less due to funding and more due to other either issues of one degree or another. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
That can be very difficult, and I understand. I think that there's been a sense that if you are getting started and just off the blocks, that on one hand there's more understanding for a slightly longer timeline and things like that, but also I think a lot of people want to see something complete. You know what I mean? I think that's what works the best, even if it's just a small piece, whether it be a game demo. I've noticed that demos are making a comeback in video games. I noticed that like completed preview pages are getting more common with comics, at least, and not just like here's 1 or 2 pages, but like a decent number of them, or people are already most of the way through the project. So yeah, I think overall it's good. I think that some people might say it's discourages folks, but I think at the end of the day, it helps the consumers figure out who is actually ready to rumble. And that means the money goes to the people who are actually going to be producing things.
Yeah, I also think that's like good for like discipline for the creative side. So it's not just like, oh, okay, you basically have nothing done, but you make all these promises and then get a bunch of money, but then can't do anything with it. It's kind of just like, okay, before you get to that point, you just gotta know what you're doing, your timeline, how it's gonna cost, and actually like get into it. Because there's been like Kickstarter project where it's like, okay, the wallpaper looks nice, but when I go into it, there's basically like no materials, nothing, just like titty pics and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, besides the fact that there's many different sites I can go to for free for that stuff, it's like if you don't have much stuff to view, it's like I don't trust I'm gonna get like something worth my time. Because it's like, okay, if you don't have enough content to give it out, how am I sure that this is gonna be something that I can either enjoy or that you're even gonna finish it, or is this gonna be something where, okay, yeah, I'll give you the $20, and then next thing I know, poof, you're gone, and then I never hear about it, and of course I forget about it. So I feel like at least get a good amount done beforehand is good, especially since then you don't have to, I guess you could say, race against the clock if like something happens, or you can easily make changes. Because like funny thing about number one is that technically speaking, the version that came out is the second rewrite of the script, because my artist worked on like the first, I think it was 10, 15 pages. And then around that time, I was just like, I kind of just had like a brain spark. I was just like, what if I actually do the story this way so I can make issue number one a lot more interesting? Cause I thought the original version, I just thought, I felt like it was a little bit too plain, and then that won't get people more interested in number two. So I rewrote some stuff, put in some stuff that was going to be in there later before. I was just like, yeah, I think that's a lot better. Of course, the author was cool with it, since nothing I changed was any of the work he already did. It was a lot of stuff like after the 15 pages. And that's why I was kind of like, hey, I gotta actually lock in and actually make my decision now. Because, if I take like 3 months just to do a rewrite, then that's gonna be a lot more pages than, and then now I'm wasting his time, my time, and money. So they thought I managed to get the rewrite out before he really got into the project. Because I was part of the first 10, 15 pages. It was a good introduction, not much that need to be changed. And so yeah, that's how it came out. And that's kind of like the benefit. Because imagine if I already, I did get John Douglas a free one, which he still done a review for, but you haven't.
Dude, it's really good.
Same.
I'm thinking of, I think I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do a review for this one. And I think like I want to try, because shorts have a better chance of like blowing up and getting like a lot of eyes on it. And although it doesn't really do well for a YouTube channel, it could do really well if I could figure out how to format like a 1 minute video that's like, go check this book out. Here's the link. Check. Like, I really want to like dial that in, because I think it's going to be, I want to try to push that out to as many people as I can. And like, I'm not good at shorts, so it gives me an excuse to like tap into that audience for everybody else too. And I think that like, I freaking love this book, and I want to be able to just push it out there and do the best that I can. God, this is a great freaking book.
Yeah, that's why I kind of been going as fast as I can to get it on Amazon, because of course it just came out. People started getting their hand and stuff. It does generate buzz. I'm trying to get it so that I can be somewhere what they can buy either digitally or physically, so that when it's talk about it, sometimes you look at something, you'll be like, oh, I wonder what that title is. They might Google it. I want to make it so that if they Google it or look into it, they could be like, oh, they're selling it. Well, yeah, if I've seen people talk so good about it, maybe I might try it out. Of course, Global Comics, you can read the first 15 pages for free. So like, okay, yeah, I can test it out and see such. And of course, I with the copies and such I gave out, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I see what's the one I'm looking for. I guess I'll say utilize people's interest in it right now, since that's gonna be probably when it's at their highest.
I like. I mean, Global Comics is really well put together. Just as an aside, I was looking
Sure
at
is.
that, and
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely think that's a platform that is very, very much needed in the space. So
And
I'm-
they're interested in integrating with other systems. There's some talks going on in Global Comics about a showcase for active campaigns on Fund My Comic and a couple of the other crowdfunders.
Cool. That's really cool.
yeah, and they're like they have a very slick interface. That's one thing that I always kind of worry about with the stuff that markets itself towards indie. You know, like Public Square, I think I've talked about, but you know, some of these, the creators are the product. You know what I mean, and not the consumers, and so you end up where you have a very bare bones infrastructure that doesn't actually really work for any consumer, but it just is good at, you know, appealing to creatives without actually doing any good for them. So I'm glad that that's
It's called
not the case at all.
placating.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I was
it's called
kinda-
easy money. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
well, they get an echo chamber of creators, and then you know, it's like, well, you got to break it out, and you got to break it out into the wide world, the big market. You know, that's why I was thinking.
Nah, they can just point and go, look how busy it is.
Well, yeah, that's the other side of it too.
Well, I mean, if you can't, if you won't provide page view numbers and revenue, you know what I mean? If your business isn't actually getting people to the site and selling something, your business
There's no
is something
point to
else.
it.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yup. I agree.
sure is.
So, okay, and the question has waited too long. Why'd you make the villain a big titty goth girl?
I knew it was coming up before the hour.
Okay, we believe to me that the answer isn't just because I'm into that. That's actually a
Dude,
decent
that would have been a really
story
good
structure
answer,
to
though.
it.
Though, if you'd have been like, "Cause yes," yeah, like if your answer was just yes, I would have been that we could have rolled with that. But you, all right, it's more complex. than just-
I mean, yeah, I am into it, but like it also kind of sort of like it seems like how I love Gamora because like she really helps make the story go. Because like of course, as I was constructing the story and such, I was just like, okay, how am I gonna market a story about some edgelord trying to be a hero and such? Like, if you saw from the '90s, there's like 100 of them, and of course, actually getting people to read it. It doesn't matter if my content is actually different from them. That if people are automatically not as interested going into it, because okay, yeah, especially nowadays, where like seeing so many heroes are basically just like jackasses and such. And so it's like, okay, so how can I actually make this work? And as I mentioned before, one of my methods of making the first chapter or story interesting is either setting, plot, or character interactions to make it interesting to get people invested. Because if the investor want to give it a chance, there's many anime as well. Even if the first episode didn't, I was just like, I do like this. I'm gonna give at least episode 2 a shot and such. And so of course I'm like, okay, edgelord, new hero. What if? Hear me out. What if right next to him is a big-breasted goth girl who always like to cheese him?
That's
It's
what's
like-
so funny too. Exactly.
It's like that soul stopper where it makes anyone who might just overly simplify the trope just be like, oh yeah, edgelord hero, blah blah blah. Wait, hold on, wait, like his dual agonist is just like big-breasted girl. Well, what's this all about?
And I will say this, the way that you marketed, the way that the marketing was done, there you go, words, Royce. Yeah, fuck, I'm already starting to. But anyway,
Work the other way too.
Yeah, maybe. The way I don't like marketed, it doesn't sound right in my brain. But the way that the marketing was done, where she's constantly teasing this guy, they just kind of get this little bit of like a bubbly attitude, and then also when you like, I not quite sure how you pulled that character together, being the villain character, but you did, man. You really, really did. Like, that was it. It was refreshing, and at the same time, it reminded me of things that I'd seen before. And that's what I think that was probably my favorite part, is going through the whole book. I'm like, okay, this is definitely a new story. These are definitely new characters, but this definitely takes me back.
Definitely.
Dude, no, it's like, I'm excited. Okay, start up.
No, yeah, because like it was fun crafting it, because I'm just thinking to myself, okay, like, you know, how does this work? Like, okay, what's the dynamic? You know, since he's an edgelord, what does stop him from just like giving a finger saying F you and then leaving forever, which we find in the book why he can't just do that even if he wants to. And then the fact that, you know, see, teasing him, it works because it works away from marketing. Because with marketing, you cannot just give away like the whole product, or else why will people buy it if basically they base it on everything? So the fact that see teasing was, because I can, you know, make posters, make art, make marketing stunts with that without having to literally spoil the plot lines of the book. Because it's like, okay, yeah, there's like 1,000 different ways you can tease someone and make it work. I even have an idea later for like a con I'm doing about how to incorporate that kind of idea and such. And so it was kind of just like, hey, look at this dynamic. You know, the hero's new and the villain's a veteran, but she just loves mess with them. And then, you know, that itself can get a lot of people just going, okay, yeah, I'll jump into it. And then on top of that, they get a whole lot of, you know, world building, plot, and then stuff to enjoy. So that even if like the fighting and the, I guess say, social issue or conflict doesn't interest them as much, they'll still stay around because they just want to see how the two interact.
That was, I think you nailed it in that. I think the character interactions were freaking great. And I think you're right. I don't think you gave away, like, when I found out like why this villain's allowed to tease this guy, like, it's at like, you're like, oh wow, didn't see that one coming. Like,
yeah, that was a hard secret to keep. Cause I want to say it so badly, but I'm like, nope, I gotta let people find out, because that's it's a fun. Well, it's both funny, entertaining, but in a way, sort of horrifying existence.
It's. I was gonna say, like, didn't see that one coming, and I was like, but that's a really good reason. Like, that is a really good reason. You're like, why would the hero, like, are they like, what's going on here? You know, I couldn't figure it out. I figured out it had to be something, but yeah, it was. You guys got it, the plot twist on that, and why this guy is just But I'm gonna be honest. I think like every guy at some point in their life has wanted to be bullied by a big titty goth girl. So there's also that audience out there. I know I've been bullied by one for the last 13 and a half years of my life. But anyway.
Joyce, this is called marriage. But I think one of the biggest difficulties for me was, you know, of course, it's the indie scene, fun reading and stuff. It's very easy to, I guess you could say, fall into a trap or like overly use just, you know, like I said, want to make characters a giant big breasted girl. It could have been very easy to like fall into the practice of just, okay, basically just making that show to where instead of it just being a guy's path to do something and all that stuff, it just, oh, look at her titties. Yeah, there's other stuff, but let's be honest, you're just here for that. And so that was the most difficult part. I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure I actually balance it, because I don't want it to just be, at least in marketing, I don't want it to just be bait acting like, oh yes, he's gonna be doing all this and the guy doesn't matter, just for the story to just be about the guy. And at the same time, I don't want to like toss out all these ideas, theme and stuff for the guy, just for it to be about the girl and such. Because like the original title of the story was gonna be My Villain Keeps Beating Me, and I changed it because I liked it, but it made it seem a little bit too jokey for the type of story I was trying to tell. And it kind of seemed like, okay, just all jokes or just all parody. So I had to find a more appropriate title. It's like it still got that funny feel to it, but at the exact same time, it can still have like that more serious tone. And through the title itself, it makes it a little bit more clear that yes, the main character is the guy. Like the girl, she is like important. She has her own stuff and such. She's not just there to bring all the boys to the yard. She does have her own place and such, but it is centered around the guy, his struggle, him trying the best. And by the way, I just love the main character Zero. I like him because like my goal with him was to have him be like, of course, you know, kind of like subvert expectation, thinking, okay, he's an edgelord, but you know, like Sasha and stuff. He's not like an actual like horrible human being. He's actually decent. He just, but also just the thing was like, I want people to at time get the feeling that when you see him, you know, be himself, be an edgelord and do all this stuff, just be like, you're such a spaz, but your dedication and such for this stuff makes me like you. Because like, yeah, some of the stuff you do is stupid. At times it's so annoying. It's just like, oh my goodness, dude, can you not? But it's hard to hate him because of it.
I will say this, man. You did not rely on in the book itself. You didn't like you did not rely on the sex appeal. It's like the characters are there, they are who they are, and they go through the story, and that was one of the things I was worried about. I was like, okay, like obviously, haha, like the Big Titty Goth Girl book. Like, okay, let's read the book now. Like, is there going to be substance to this, or is he just going to be relying on the fact? And I was like, oh wow, no, it's just the character is there. I was like, that's okay. Yeah, and I'm really glad that you didn't take it too far in that direction.
Yeah, because you know, of course, like I said, there's sites for that if you wanted. So I'm like, okay, if I'm creating a story, and I also want to create a story to where it's like, you know, of course, right now, you know, golf girls are, you know, the hype and stuff, but I kind of always thought, okay, during those times where they're not. Been
the hype, good sir.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes you know the tide gets a little bit low and such, so it gets split out. So I'm like, okay, I want to create a story to where like, even if the tide is low at the time, people can still read it and enjoy it. So probably because you know she's hot and stuff, but also because hey, you know the story is good. Like hey, you know I just like how they interact and such, and that was kind of like my goal. As I feel like that kind of works to make things timeless. As it's not just okay, you can only enjoy it right now because of the trend. It's like yeah, it uses the trend to lift it up, but outside of the trend, you can still have the ride and be like, oh yeah, that's nice. Like kind of like The Walking Dead, where it's like, yeah, you know, it came out when like zombie movies were the hype and such, but even when you know zombie movies, I'm not sure if it's super popular now, but even when it's like not in it, you can still go back and read it and just still be like, yeah, this is actually still a pretty decent story, for depending on your opinion and how good it's main good and such. So that was kind of like my goal as, you know, yeah, why not? Plus, I kind of like going off of the marketing strategy of, so you know how there's certain sexy models where like, okay, they always bait the sexiness until like years later, and then they finally do that one new cover just so I can make a bunch of dollars from it. I'm kind of like using that plan, but I'm kind of using it towards like, okay, I'm not just giving it out to you. It's number one. But then, you know, you always got your goal. Why will you return, or why will you actually care about the character? So I'm kind of like, okay, you know, I'm bringing you in. Hey, you like her? Hey, you like your personality? Okay, now you're invested, and keep getting invested. And then, you know, who knows? Like maybe at like number 5 or number 4, I might have probably not the most spiciest cover, but at least a spicy cover. And then instantly, you know, start, you know, going.
Oh, you're gonna do the Shonen Anime Beach episode, aren't you?
Yeah, well, maybe. Who knows?
You're
Depends.
gonna do
I don't know. Like the main
beaches.
character does like beaches, so he'll probably just be dragged down by her.
Parent, I understand this guy. I really, really understand this guy.
I think that's what makes it fun. The fact that it's such a is what I mean when I talk about either that the dynamics between characters get people interested, since it's such a just the guy who just he wants to just be all that. Yeah, I say heroes. I'm a hero. I do all this stuff, and I'm all awesome and such. But he can't because he got someone who's, unfortunate for him, more powerful than he is, with way more experience and with magic and stuff, who can basically just be like, nah, we're doing this today. And so it makes things fun as I kind of have to balance the writing to where it's like, okay, of course, he bullies him and stuff, but I try not to go, at least for now, not too overboard with it, to where people can feel a little bit too uncomfortable with it, and just start to go from that funny, haha, it's funny, to like, I don't know, that makes it a little bit, creepy, or like a little bit over the top and such. So it's kind of like a balance act of seeing, okay, what can be still funny, but not, okay, I'm basically make her do like the worst that can make people overly hate her just for the sight of a joke.
So I am reading chat, and I have a question for you, not directly from chat, but it does make me wonder. What are your favorite mangas that you would say that you've drawn from?
I say one, of course, My Hero Academia. That's based like a toss-up. And then, of course, there's some other things. I know Blaze Blue technically isn't a manga, but it's a video game. I like it because the protagonist and Mion is a little bit similar to where, like, they're both edgelords, but at least they try to be, but the world around them is so, I guess I could say, it's almost as if, despite them being an outlandish character, everyone else being so insane makes them unironically a bit of the straight man of the entire series and such. So I kind of took a little bit from that. And then, of course, there's stuff like, there's an old anime I used to watch called Kenichi the Maya Disciple. It's like a basic martial arts anime. Oh, I see. Dan might know what it is. We used to get bullied, get trained by like 6, I think there were like 5 martial arts master, start to be better and such. I of course enjoyed that.
If you count the Grandmaster, there were 6.
Okay, yeah. So of course, it got that. Okay, yeah, despite being weak, you can still, do your best, throw yourself at these issues to try to get the best results, that kind of stuff. Of course, there's the basic Southern stuff, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, all that stuff. And then, I'd say that's about the biggest one. I guess there's stuff like Beyblade, but that's just, my hyperactive, I love action, set pieces, cool fights and techniques and such. And let's see. Oh, and surprisingly, and this might be a little bit obvious, those dashes of those, I guess you could say, rom-com animes, like especially the one where like the girl bullies the guy that's been getting popular over the recent couple of years, like Izaki likes to bully you, I think. Something. Oh no, it's like Izaki wants to hang out and that kind of stuff. Because I always just find them funny. And of course, you can probably see how that influenced the whole dynamic between the villain and the guy, as just like that kind of funness to where it's like, okay, it's a bit teasing, but it's not the worst. They actually seem like they actually, in some sense, can stand each other. So, yeah.
I don't want to spoil your story for anybody, but since you brought up Kenichi, one of the really cool aspects of that particular manga, and it's also an animated series, I believe, too, was that after suffering under these grand masters of martial arts, where you go through many episodes of this kid just being tormented by these people who expect him to be able to do things that he doesn't feel he's capable of doing. The first time he gets into a real pitched issue, he realizes that he's so far ahead of normal people now. when a moment ago he felt like he was underdeveloped because those masters are so skilled and he's been training under them, but he never felt like he was actually learning anything. There's this like really cool critical moment for the character development where he faces off against, I think, one of the school bullies who's a martial artist and like the karate class. And partway into the fight, he's like, how am I doing this? Like, I don't even understand how I'm still standing against this kid. I thought he was so much better than me. Is there a little bit of that maybe going to happen at some point in the story for Zeal? Because, Grimoire is so out of his league.
I say, in a sense, yeah. I mean, even issue 1 itself kind of has that. Cause like, if you pay attention, of course, when you're right next to him, things are a lot more, goofy. He looks, I guess you could say less confident, more goofy as if, he sucks. But then you see that when he's not there and he actually just find the villain, he's decently competent. I mean, it's not like, it's easy for him, but if you just take from how he is around Gamora, you'll think, especially for like, I guess you say a lot of the pictures and stuff when they're together, you'll think, all right, this guy sucks. He might, like you'll question, okay, why is he a hero? Like, can he even survive out here? How he's not dead? But then when you actually see him fight when he's by himself, you can actually see him just be like, oh, shoot, he can actually like do stuff. Like he's not. It seems like, okay, he's actually trying to be a hero. He's not like a lot of modern superhero where feel like he just woke up and put on a suit and he kind of feel like, okay, no, he actually think things out. He can actually do some critical stuff as he saw once he started getting a little bit later in the night, you actually start seeing him really start pulling out his good arsenal. And
Awesome.
Let's see, Ellen Wolfbane. Oh yeah, we'll talk about Kenichi. I read the manga. Oh, Kenichi did have this really moment in the manga I like him because like even when he gets stronger, he never loses that, I guess you could say, innocent good guy stuff in himself. To where there was a moment like way later in the manga, he ends up running to these bulls again who will basically they're forced to attack him again. And so, he fights them and then he doesn't notice, but he basically knocks them all out in one hit. But when he looks back, he found that he didn't just knock them out in one hit, but he like badly bruised them and such. Like it's all just like, okay, they're knocked out, but it was just like, oh shoot, like I think I even almost killed them and such. And then of course, the person who made him fight him was just like, yeah, you probably didn't even notice it, but you've gotten so strong that against regular people or even I guess dumb, slightly above regular people, you can basically kill him in one hit and such. And I kind of like it because it still shows how much he cares that he's not just letting all this power and stuff.
Yeah, he's got a great level of humility to him throughout the whole series. And for a guy that literally gets punched so hard by one of his trainers that his soul leaves his body, you like operate through the whole story assuming that this kid is just the most incompetent student of martial arts until he's actually out in the real world and things happen around him that he feels he must do things about. And then you see the training that he's gone through finally shine through.
What property is this?
It's called Kenichi.
Kenichi, okay.
Yeah, the mightiest disciple.
I might have to go. And you said it's also an anime as well?
Yes, there is an anime. It's absolutely hilarious. It doesn't totally follow the manga. They cut a couple of things out, but for the most part, it's pretty close.
Like as a self-contained 52 episode anime, it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. At least for the time it was released. Of course, it's been like a couple of decades, so it has the old school style, but I still say
some of that still holds up today, though.
Oh, it absolutely does. And the characterizations are all absolutely fantastic. They play tropes with a lot of it, but it's to the comedy of the show as opposed to the character development. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I'm so tired of people saying tropes are over. You shut up.
Oh, I know. Trust me, I hate that as well. Because like at this point, everything was trope. So I'm just like, it's why I take this most of, screw you. I do what I want. Because at the end of the day, no matter what I do, someone's gonna say, "Oh, dude, tropes." So it's part that it'll just be like the most simplistic
Like-
thing. Like, they'll just be like, oh, no, he's an Lord, power fantasy. I'm just like, bro, if you read the thing for like 2 fucking seconds, you'll know what that is.
The moment that made me smile the most and I laughed the hardest was literally the closeout to the story, because there is one absolute trope that you have seen in every anime and all that, and it's like it closes out the story, and I was like, God, I'm so glad he put that in there, because it's just it just again, he's relentlessly bullied, and it's so freaking good, man. And I love that you threw that stuff in there. God, it just makes it so endearing.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna be copying the style. Why not just embrace the medium I'm in? Like, I feel like nowadays, what a lot of indie people struggle with is that I'll just say they kind of at times their asses too well. Instead of actually making sure the media is actually entertaining to watch, they're overthinking, thinking, oh yeah, I must be above this trope, or I must be doing this and such. Well, just like my guy. No one freaking read Lord of the Rings and just thought, oh wow, he's suppressing tropes. No, they're just like, oh my god, this guy is really good at describing this tree. I don't like that. And it's just like, I feel like that holds a lot of people back, because instead of them actually making something that interests people, they're trying to play like 4 degrees chess, and then their first issue and such isn't too interesting. And I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? I'm here trying to enjoy it. It's why I kind of like Akira Toriyama so much, because he was a guy who was very much just say, hey, I want to entertain people. I love my gags. I'm gonna keep doing them no matter what. And that's why even in times when like Goku fought Frieza, he still managed to put in jokes. It wasn't the most obvious jokes, but it was jokes like when Goku will bite Frieza's tail, which apparently Goku liked doing a lot.
That was I remember that. I forgot about that, man. God,
yeah. It's great, because you can tell he never lets it go. Because even later, when he's going against Kid Buu, he's fighting someone who's basically just genocided a planet, and yet to still have time putting out little tiny, not out loud jokes. I'll get into that later, but not out loud jokes. But just have Kid Buu bite Goku, and then Goku bite him back, and it's just perfect.
My favorite thing that and it was in Dragon Ball Z, my favorite one ever is they're getting ready for the Cell games, right? And Goku and Krillin are just hanging out by the river, and Krillin's like, man, I bet Goku is so strong right now, because he's still Super Saiyan, and he's like, I bet I could throw this rock at him and he wouldn't, and he just blasted out of the air without opening his eyes, and Krillin throws him and hits him in the head with a rock, and he's like, why would you do that? And he was like, well, I thought you were gonna hit it away. He's like, I had my eyes closed. That is my favorite joke I think that I've ever seen Toriyama do, and I was like, man, that just it's perfect, Yeah.
Like, I think that's the thing with comedy, is that not a lot of people realize the difference between passive, quiet, and loud jokes. Now I feel like people try to be a little bit too funny to where everything is just like, it's like that trope, he's behind me, isn't he? It's like nowadays everyone makes it the most obvious thing. I still think that joke can work, but at times you don't always have to be so loud about it. Like how about instead of literally just doing, he's behind me, isn't he? We just see his shadow, and then instead of the guy saying anything, he just slowly closes his eyes. Can you just like, and then we just see him out the window or something. Something a little bit quieter, but still gets the point across without being the most, oh wow, that just happened. And I think that's why I had to work through my script. Because I just think to myself, okay, when are the jokes appropriate? Does this have to be this loud? Can I not just make it quieter to where like everyone gets the joke just by looking at it, and then so on and so forth? And it can be tough, but if you pace yourself, it can work out.
No, I think you definitely nailed it with a few of the ones in there. Like I said, it's got the tropes, but they're there and they're fun. And like I said, it just that ending scene. Oh God, I laughed so hard at that, because I was like, "Yep, I've seen that before." But damn it works so well in this context. Like, and that was it was like the whole context of the book, and then that last scene, and I was just like, Oh, that's too good. That's way too good. Like, God, it was. I will say this. I have no idea what this would even take on your end. I do hope that you become successful enough with these to put these in color, because I'm not one to go out and buy like multiple copies of stuff unless I accidentally do it. I would absolutely buy a full color version of this as well, if you were ever able to do it.
My thoughts on that is I probably won't do individual issues, but more like volume covers. So like if I ever do volume 1, maybe in the future I can make that color, so that's like, okay,
oh, gotcha.
You don't have to buy all the chapters again. You can just buy one book that's covered. It'll probably be a lot easier to like make it an event and such, and it'll be a lot more easier to do.
Well, and
that was kind of my plan with the G Sedai too.
Oh, so I'm just behind the times. I see how it is. Yeah. Yes.
Well, I mean, I figured I was doing 32-page floppies, so at the end of the book arc, in as far as issues are concerned, I was just going to combine them all together and run a full color pop graphic novel. It's like almost 200 pages long.
That'd be great. Oh, that'd be really cool.
Oh, yeah, just because like, yeah, of course, even some mangas do it. Like I know Dragon Ball have like a color version. I think Hunter x Hunter actually have one. No, I don't think they have one yet.
No.
I forgot which other one has it, but I know some do. And it's just like, yeah, you know, you don't have to like do it chapter by chapter. You can just make it like a decent pitch. That way, you know, people have a reason to buy it, either because they miss a few chapters or volumes, or, you know, because they can finally see everything in color, and now they can see all the character designs in color, even some characters who probably didn't get on the cover or such, so they can't see the full color. And yeah.
No, dude, it's I don't know. I want to. I'm this close to talking about spoilers, and I really don't want to. Oh,
you can if you want. I don't mind.
Well, no, because I want people to go check it out. I do, like, there, because
isn't there a character we haven't talked about yet?
Well, we have not talked about the actual antagonist of the book, and
I've been waiting for Royce to bring it up. I think he's been holding back.
Dude, well, because like the problem is everything that I want to talk, because there's so many good moments. There's so many good moments, and not just fun and funny, but there's also endearing moments too. Like, there is a moment in this book when you absolutely go, oh yeah, this guy is definitely a hero. And it's not because of the crazy hero stuff he's doing. It's something else. And it's like I said, but all of a sudden this character is just endearing. Yeah, he's the edgelord, but he's an endearing edgelord. It's like that, obviously. And then the villain, or I'm sorry, the antagonist, not the villain, like, but because Gamora, she is the villain, but the antagonist, who I guess is technically a villain in the book, like, dude, you went balls to the walls. You made him so comically, like, just comic booky stereotype, like villain. It was just like, I was like, man. Oh, well, so if you guys have seen right after I got done reading it, I went to Hero Darky Dark, and I was like, all right, dude, so here is, because there's like 3 main characters that you deal with in the book. You obviously deal with the hero. He reminds me of a mix between Asta and Izuku Midoriya. Then you have the villainess. It's like, that is, she just, I heard My Valentine from the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. I heard that, or the original voice actress who played My Valentine. I heard her voice, and it just like fit perfect. It's like, it's My Valentine is a big titty goth girl. And then this character in my head, the actual antagonist of the book. If you guys have ever seen Team 4 Star's Hellsing Ultimate Abridged, and you have the two vampire brothers that go and they assault the Hellsing Manor. and you've got that really loudmouth, annoying brother, you know, the one that's just like, oh, if you want to shoot through their armor, you're going to have, or yeah, he's like, you're going to have an anti-tank rifle because their armor's half as thick as my dick. Like that guy, like the really just loud, and just the way that the voice actor sounded, he goes, oh shit, she's got an anti-tank rifle. Like, I heard that guy's voice when... as soon as he says a couple of lines, like, and I'm just like, holy shit, dude. And I couldn't not hear his voice. And I know, Hero Darky Dark, you said you had a little bit of a different voice in mind when you wrote it, but...
Right about that. I'm just like, I mean, it fits, but I never thought about it. To me, he always kind of sound like a junk like kind of person, because he's Australian. So that's always a stuff junk.
I didn't know that either. I didn't know he was Australian. I just kind of was like, he just sounds like this. And it just... Wait,
did he not read the bonus pages at the end?
No, I didn't. I did not read the bonus pages at the end. I got done with the story, and as soon as I was done, because here's the thing, I was probably less than 10 pages into the book when I was like, I need to take this to my wife. I need to put this in her hands. I was like, she needs to read it, because it was her on Comic Shop Wednesday when we covered your book. She bought it that night. She thought it was endearing, and like she was the one that made the call, and she purchased it that night. And so I was like 10 pages in, and I was like, I need to go. I will go read the bonus pages now, or not now, but after the show. And
that was fun.
I had to get this into my wife's hands because one, she actually kind of has time this week because, well, her leg's kind of messed up, and so she needs to just chill and let it rest. And so I was like, perfect excuse to just be like, here, you're already sitting down. And she read it, and she was like, no, she really, really liked it too. And I did not read the bonus stuff at the end that tells you all about the characters. I should have.
Yeah, see, what I like about it is that it's not just like a, plain Infamous where it's like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of blah 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 stuff. I did it in a format to where it's like it's written from Zeal's point of view, and so we only have the information through his point of view. So of course there's something he straight up doesn't know, but on top of that, I also had it to since it's, of course, if it's written by him, that means that it's probably written somewhere. And so I had it to, of course, we have on paper, Zeal's writing, and then we see that Gamora over it, make her own comments on top of it, and annoying the shit out of him.
And he can't get away, and the reason that he can't get away is so good. It's, dude. Okay, so Daniel, what did you want to talk about that? Because did you get one too, Daniel?
No.
No. Oh,
I read the free pages.
Oh, you read the free pages. Okay, yeah. But the antagonist, like I said, the antagonist of the story is, and I love that what I love that you did so well is the antagonist of the story is just the plot device. He really is. He is just there to basically give a reason for our two main characters to move around the city, to move around the story, to move their interactions from place to place. And that was really well done, in my opinion, to take your kind of like your main book antagonist and just use him as that. He's not this big overarching villain. He's not, he'll have a story in the future. I'm assuming just the way that the book ended. But he was literally just there to be that thing. It's like, okay, he is this thing. He is the reason that our main two characters, which you freaking love, interact. And that, was that an obvious choice from the beginning or no?
Yeah, I'd say so. Because, of course, it's like, it's got to be, of course, it's chapter 1. So it's like, it's got to be a little bit hard to make people care about a villain attack. Kind of just like, okay, it's chapter 1. And since it's chapter 1, I can't just have it be like, oh, you killed my father. Because there's who gives a shit? I just know you 5 seconds ago. And so because it's kind of
and I just met you.
Exactly. So it's kind of like, okay, I had to make a choice. It was like, okay, I can't shake things up too much. Because what can I shake up when there's no status quo or like flow to it. So instead of like trying that, I'm like, okay, what if I make it something to where it's like he's there, he has a purpose, but it's not super reliant on just their other interaction. It's like, yeah, it's there, he's a challenge to him. So now we can see the hero grit, actually have a challenge as such. But it's like, okay, it doesn't need to rely on it. And that's why I like him. Cause like, of course, him being so Son of Night, his, I guess I could say blatant disregard for others' life also help play into the theme of like the book. Cause the theme is, part of the theme is like, seeing this guy, seeing society around him kind of like become, in a sense, more apathetic, almost as if everyone else going crazy. Some people not taking things as serious as he is. And then meant that he just has a guy who's just blowing shit up without even like good reason. Like in a regular book, it'll just be like, oh yeah, see my father, he used to always make toys or something until this businessman came out. Him, it's just like, no, honestly, I was just bored tonight. I don't.
I like blowing things up.
Dude, it's just I love those motivations. It's I'm kind of getting a little tired of like super deep motivations, and it's just like because he just wanted to, like
yeah.
he just
And it was kind of like a dual dynamic to it. Was like there's a main character who even at times is a little bit too caring or too serious about everything. This is the guy who literally probably is doing this between a choice between doing this and just going to McDonald's for the night, but instead he chose death. That blatant, apathetic. Yeah, I guess why not? Just was okay. Just like it sold his point of is everyone going insane here? Like, does people really not care about the world?
Yeah, I like that because the more recent episodes of My Hero that have come out, when they did the Dobby reveal, which I saw coming a mile away, but the sudden shift of the character from careless psychopath to totally focused on ruining his, it's not a spoiler anymore because it's been out for months, father's reputation. It just totally destroyed the character for me. I liked him more when he had no purpose and just liked fucking shit up.
I will say this in the anime, I think what did they call that episode? Dobby's Dance. I think that was one of the I think that was one of the best episodes that I, in my opinion, with the writing of My Hero Academia, he was definitely the standout character because everybody in My Hero Academia has a reason for doing what they're doing. Yep. All of them do. It's one of the few animes where like kind of all the characters you kind of get to understand their motivations for stuff. And he was the one character that didn't have those motivations. And I will say this, when you found out his motivations, you're like, yeah, okay, that's not bad. I
absolutely understood what like the motivation of the arc. I preferred when he was malevolent without vengeance oriented. He was just like, I like destroying shit. I like killing heroes. This is fun. I'm like, yes, psycho, I'm in. And then it turns to, well, I'm this way because of all of this stuff happening, and now I get to let out all of my regressed childlike psychosis.
Okay,
and I'm like, really? Really?
Oh, that's
you could have just let it go.
You're not from the angsty generation, so I was like, oh, sweet, teenage angst, let's go. I remember this well.
Hey, I respect the spite. At times I feel like not enough villains have that amount of spite to really just make them interesting. I feel like nowadays villains, everyone's trying to be like, make a villain a Zuko, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm actually right, or I'm redeemable. I'm like, no. You try to kill like 100 different people just today. Screw you. And that's kind of what I like about Berserk. It feels like he's never bad about it. He doesn't even try to explain himself. He's just like, no, like, hey, screw everything. Why not? Like, what are you gonna do about it?
Well, what was his whole thing? It was like he just wanted to have a flashy night.
Yeah,
So
basically.
he's just throwing bombs everywhere. He's like, no. He's like, I like fireworks.
Yeah, he was just like, yeah, this is
Fun.
gonna be my villain debut. So yeah, I just want to make it a big.
Just like,
Because imagine if he streamed that, go like, hey, what's up, everyone?
oh my god, dude, that would have been freaking hilarious. I will say this, I'm kind of glad that you didn't do that, but that wouldn't be a bad way for people, you know. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I will say I didn't think about it, but I was just like, nah, doesn't. From what my idea of him is, because I have him, mapped out like, a lot. So I'm just like, for what I feel like he is, I don't feel like he cared about it. Because well, of course, you read the book, so you know what he is. So you can always tell that he's not someone who really cares about someone else seeing it than just him himself experiencing it. Because, like, part of his motivation was just like, yeah, like a lot of people didn't use my shit the way I like it. So, if they're not going to do it, fine. I guess I'll do it myself.
Yeah, that's
like never really sound like someone who needs to like stream
just
it.
Simple stuff like that. Again, I think the villains are getting a little overcomplicated in the modern day. And I like the cartoonish villains or the cartoon type villains they're just simple. It's just, why are you doing this bad thing? And they're like, it was fun. But and people are like, what? It's like, yeah, no, I was just bored. It was a Tuesday night. There's not a lot to watch on TV except reruns, and I've seen that episode before. So went out and did some crime. And you're just like, what the fuck? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you saw someone like the teaser pages for number 2, right?
I don't know if I have seen it. Wait, maybe did I see the teaser pages? I don't think I have. No.
No, I remember I put it in like one of the Wednesday things. It's like you probably saw them. Yeah, it doesn't matter, but I know like one of them is sold like a news report of a villain who of course it's like a sort of joke and stuff, but it describes how a villain went essentially at a killing spree because his restaurant ice cream machine was broke. He just he just had a crash out.
That's freaking hilarious. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, that intrigues me. That was what I was talking about.
Well, it's fun because not
everybody's.
everybody's.
One thing was funny because, like, people gonna do that. Like, much we like to believe that us humans have like a, at least higher ground of stuff that we won't do horrible things. We always see it. People are willing to do awful things for a penny. So it's like the concept of someone having the ice cream machine broken and just be like, yep, no, I'm gonna just start messing things up over that. I just love it. I just thought it was funny.
Dude, seriously, the book's freaking great. I love it. I do. I don't know what more I can say about it because I will get into spoiler territory, and out of you know me, I'm the guy I don't really give a shit about spoilers. Like let's talk spoilers, but I actually genuinely enjoy this to the point where I know that the audience I think the audience would I especially if you guys are into shonen anime. I mean, dude, this fires on all of the cylinders. I can't believe this is kind of your first outing in the comic world. It's that impressive that you were able to pull something off this cohesive, this well-rounded, this fun. Like fucking fun. Like who could have ever foreseen a fun story?
That, like I said, it's kind of like
never been done before.
Like, exactly. Cause I feel like that's missing from media. Where it's like no one wants to have fun; they just want to be seen as great. When I'm like, you can do both. Hey, you want me to? I've been holding something for a while. You want me to finally show what I've been holding close to my chest?
Oh yeah. I'm down with it. What do we got? Let me
I'm gonna post it on Twitter, and I'm gonna just send in the link to my tweet.
Oh shit! Well, I'm just gonna go over to your freaking. I already have Twitter open right now, so I'll just go over to your page. Perfect. All right.
I just posted it. There we are.
Doing all right over there, Richard.
The second cover.
Yeah, I'm gonna bounce, but I'm curious to see the.
Dude, that's legit. The second cover right here.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. Oh,
That is really, really freaking well done.
Yeah, so there's this company that does a lot of comics for like Capcom properties like Street Fighter, Darkstalkers, and such. And so I found the cover artist. I just messaged them, going like, "Hey, want to do a cover?" And it was like, "Yeah, sure." And so, here we go.
That is fucking awesome. I freaking love it. So the first book is definitely like PG-13. Like I think my oldest could read it because she's heard cuss words before, and there's nothing graphic in this. Are you kind of stick with like that PG-13 vibe, like through the story?
Yeah, I'd say overall it's gonna be PG-13. Of course, as it's up in the first chapter, there is a decent violence in there. You won't be surprised to see some
a solid American PG-13.
A solid American PG-13. Right.
So of course, there gotta be like some injuries and stuff in there, but overall it's decently so safe for children. Of course, that doesn't mean I'm completely refrained from like sex joke. Like the girl does try to call the guy like a virgin sometimes, so it's not like it's clear of those stuff. But overall, it's not like okay, you don't have to worry about opening a page and then all of a sudden you're gonna see like two people freaking going ham on each other. At least for now, I'll give it a warning.
Yep, tweeting about it right now.
We can tell.
Yep, I know. That's why I left it up. Like, I'm stupid excited for this. I think this is freaking great. I'm glad that Richard stuck around long enough to see that.
I was going to say, I'm glad that I didn't fall over or zone out completely or anything like that.
Oh, man.
I can feel the brain activity decreasing slowly.
I do
past
that
15 minutes or so. So
I could nuance in it activate seeing her in her pure form.
Well, that did activate a few neurons, but not the conversational kind. So
oh god, fuck.
Richard is definitely tired.
Actually,
wow.
You know what? I'm not even gonna go there. My poor wife.
I was like, I'm gonna tell your wife.
I'm sure she knows.
I tell you, that slow build up of interest, it's gonna make that one cover explode.
Dude.
I'm gonna say goodnight before I get myself in trouble.
Yeah,
for goodnight.
I was gonna say Ample Magazine issue number 4. I'm using the multi-post tool. There we go. I got them.
Hey.
Both places.
Yay.
It'll be going out soon, so pre-orders will end. I'm gonna do some overrun, of course, but grab them while you can. And with that, I'll see everybody on Sunday night. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing, but it'll be extremely exciting, I'm sure, as it always is on my chill streams. So
there you go, man.
Thanks for talking, Hero, man. I love the way it looks, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's inside of issue number 2, aside from just the cover. So
Dude, it's really freaking good.
You guys have a good one.
Have a good
I'm looking forward to number 2 so much because take it. I'm looking forward to number 2 so much because I get people to like read the scripts and such, and so far from what I gotten for the people who read number 2, they love number 2 more than 1, and I'm happy about it because that was kind of like my goal because it's like okay, good, I'm finally able to like get more into like lore character stuff, a little bit more to the character's past. I love it. I love that image. I love it so much.
It's so freaking cool. Dude, there's some images in here too. Like this one here I won't show because it kind of gives away a little bit of the plot, but yeah. Dude, again, the book was just a genuine blast pretty much from start to finish. I know we've had a couple people they just sent in some chats earlier. I just grabbed those. I don't think anybody sent in any donation chats at all. I will double check that really quickly. But anyway, Aaron at Wolfsbane Comics says this is on par with a Shonen Jump book. I
He's mad at me.
absolutely agree. I absolutely think that you are on par with just about anything in Shonen. And I'm not sure how far you're going to want to take this. I hope that you hit Akira Toriyama levels of success. Like, but because I just don't have any clue how far you're. Why won't you go back in the bag? How do you guys do this?
Very carefully.
Hold, please. Well, I don't want to damage the stuff, but I actually want to see if my wife can get some frames for these because I love this. Stop it! I did it.
For the next 15 minutes. Oh, okay. Never mind.
we were nearing that. We were if I could get it in 10 seconds, it was gonna Royce, I thought you wanted to keep him nice. I did. But and then Crimson Law says the biggest thing about it that I have to praise is that I had a goofy smile on my face the whole time I was reading it. That's a damn good book, if you ask me. I did too, dude. It's that freaking good. And Daniel, you said that you read the first like 15 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, bro, you saw the act. I didn't mind giving like a free Disney pieces, you know, like the Disney thing will only on like the Kickstarter for like $10. I don't care about $10. Like,
nah, if I'm gonna read the whole thing, I'm gonna buy it.
Dude, like if you get the chance, Daniel, it's so fun, dude. It's just fun. It's just, and I love because I did, and I've told everybody this before. I hated reading growing up. I didn't like reading. I didn't like reading comic books. I watched my cartoons and I watched my movies and I went outside and I swung a stick around and pretended that I was the dude killing stuff with a sword or whatever. Like that's what I like doing. So whenever I get to sit down with something and it just triggers that, like, and I can see how it would be animated in my head, like I'm already just like, all right, this is where it's at. Like when I struggled to really envision kind of what's happening, like in my head, either in like movie format or like anime format, I just but you, dude, oh man, this was so good. I would love to see you reach a level of success that Relentlessly Bullied Hero could turn into an anime. That would, oh man, it's so good.
Yeah, I hope so as well. You know, of course, and I think what's fun about that, the premise is so not tied down to something that there's a variety of ways I can always, I get to say, advertise or do with it. Because, like, okay, since I'm happy with how it came out because I kind of have like a little bit of everything in there, and because of that, I can always explore what I want to do. So I want to have you ever seen that video about Uno? About that guy who wanted to play Uno with his friends, but the guy was just like, "I don't have Uno" and all that stuff. Have you ever seen that video?
I
haven't. No.
Don't think I have.
Oh damn! Well, it's very hilarious, but yeah, I was even just thinking, that would be like a fun short thing to advertise the series, except of course it'll be my characters having an interaction with the voiceover, because like you can probably always see that can possibly happen if the two ever play a video game together.
Mm-hmm.
Just dumb yelling at each other. And it's fun because it's like I can see so many ways I can make with it. So it's like, okay, and because of there's a lot of different elements into it, there's different ways I can advertise it to people. So if I ever want to advertise it a little bit more to women to get them to pick up a copy, I can highlight more of the romance and dynamic. If I ever want them advertise it more to males, it's of course, hey, look at the girl and the action. If I want to be a little bit laid back, it's like, okay, well, people like seeing fun interaction between each other, and so on and so forth.
Dude, man, like I think you've got a lot working here. I think as soon as I saw this for cover 2, I'm like, that's a Valentine's Day cover. You could have done that for Valentine's Day. That would have been perfect. But man, I will say this. I think the next time that I talk with the Saska sisters, I'm gonna tell them that they better hope that they wrote Yaira for the Rippaverse as good as you wrote Relentlessly Bullied Hero, because as of right now, the more I think about it, the more I think that you might be taking the top spot. Because of how much fun I had with this. Like the other book was actually Crimson Wren by Clownfish TV. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them at all, but
yeah, I know about them. I don't watch them, but I know about them.
Yeah,
decent folks.
I really like. Oh, dude, I really like their books. I think their books are really, really good. And again, they were, as far as comics are concerned, from what I've read so far since I've been getting into this world, I really loved Crimson Wren. I think it's just absolutely fantastic, and it is definitely was my favorite because it wasn't the stereotypical stuff. This here, dude, like I said, brought me right back home. New characters, new story, new powers, and yeah, everything was familiar. I got to see something new, but dude, it brought me back to like watching something on Toonami when I was a kid. And that is probably one of the best compliments that I can give anybody is, as an adult, I got to see something new and I got to feel like a kid again. And I'm just like, and that don't happen very often. It really doesn't.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that because I meant to say this on other shows before, but I always say that the goal of the book isn't just to be a parody about superheroes, but kind of a little bit of a reconstruction of superheroes. And I think that's a lot of reason why I wanted to make sure that Zeo, despite being an edgelord, was extremely likable, always inspirational. Because I'm just like, I feel like at times now the title of the hero is just slapped on to just, go take it. I don't care what that means. You just arbitrarily does something. And so, that's why I kind of want to sound my story to you, be like, of course he's not perfect, but like, even if he's not perfect, he's still straight for the ideal of being like that good force and such. And, while he may not be perfect at it, and he might, at times I have moments where you're going to be like, oh, you spaz. I still want to just get that feeling of, despite all that, you still got that feel and warmth of like heroism, and that's gonna be like a big thing throughout like all the books. Just seeing, of course, how different people treat heroism, how they want to pursue it, how can that can affect people, and all that good stuff. Is overall my goal is just to, build back up the idea of heroes instead of just having them be, oh yeah, everyone just jerks with powers. Which is good. There are gonna be heroes in the book who are jerks, but it's not just gonna be like, oh yeah, that's the point of the book. Instead, it's gonna be like more of a more interesting way of having them down.
Love it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Plays real well into my superhero stuff, so absolutely love it.
Yeah. I'll see if the chat's got any questions here. I'll give the chat about another 5 minutes for questions if they have any. Daniel, do you have any more questions?
No, I think we've covered a lot.
Without going to spoilers.
Dude,
if you want, I got some character designs of some of the characters from the next book I can easily show off.
That's up to you, man. I don't want to like. That's up to you. I am. Yeah, I want to talk about spoilers, and I'm not gonna do that. Damn it, dude! Like, I want people to buy this fucking thing so bad. It really is that freaking good to me.
And posted. There you go. Yeah, why not?
All right. Oh God. All right. Open the link in a new tab. Drag this over here. I gotta go. Why do I have too many tabs up? I always have too many tabs though. Whoa! Interesting. Very interesting. Hey, that guy. Yeah, that was the guy in the first book.
Yep.
He was That was the guy in the. I like this dude's artwork the most.
That's really nice.
That is.
Really I
nice.
look so forward to soonest having his part because like I love all my characters, semi equally, but like for certain reasons, when we get to them, I don't love them for.
Okay, this guy, I like the electric guy, and you made his hair frizz out. That's great. That's a great choice of artwork, man. Maybe do a spoiler on Sunday. No, because I want you guys to go buy the book, and I'm not doing Sunday coffee this Sunday. I'm doing Sunday coffee on Monday, but I only do Sunday coffees on Sunday, so Monday will be Sunday. I got a barbecue. I'm literally gonna be up Saturday night, like cooking barbecue, and so yeah, Sunday coffee will happen on Monday. So I will see you guys on Monday for Sunday coffee.
Nice.
God, you guys just go to Global Comics. Read. He's got the first 15 pages up. That's I think the best way that I can say this is go to the Global Comics link. Check out the free 15 pages. Because if you're like me, I think by the time you get 5, maybe 6 pages in, you'll already be sold on it. And then you can either get the PDF form or wait till he gets it on Amazon and you guys can get the physicals. So.
Or you can sign up for number 2 and be able to get both 2 and 1 when it comes out.
I'll probably do that.
Yeah, when are you launching number 2?
It depends on when the books get finished. So I say I'm aiming more around probably September, October time span.
Dude, I gotta wait that fucking long.
Because already like the first 10, I know the first 10 pages are completed, and then another, I think it was like 3 or 4 are completed as well. So it's like, okay, we're already like nearing halfway through the book.
You're just letting your artist cook at this point.
Well, for sure. I mean, like I said,
gotta give him time.
Yeah, no, that's not a bad. Oh god, I don't want to wait that long. Like,
of course, my goal is to be able to produce like 3 books a year, but it's like, okay, I gotta let it build up, because once I get, cause the brand builds up more people I get more money for like Kickstarter and stuff, I can be throwing more money at the guy from his standing weight and just be like, hey, he was like double or triple the weight, screw everything else you're doing, just work on this.
Yeah, like honestly, that's the way to do it, man. Just make enough money that you could just be like, hey, so those other 3 projects you have? So what if I pay you 4 times as much, and then you don't worry about those projects anymore?
Exactly. Ollie's number 1 for all of these.
Dude, I don't want to wait that long. God, that cover looks so fucking. I hate you so much right now. Hero Dark. We're fighting again. I'm mad at you.
My bad, my dude.
Dude, well, you did this shit to me last year. You throw out this baller cover, and it's like, dude, it's the villain Big Titty Goth Girl book. Like, out of all of the books, I can't not buy. Like, this is like the one. It's like, yeah, and everybody's like, Royce, are you gonna get the Big Titty Goth Girl book? I'm like, well, I'm even just as like the joke, like I can't let the meme hang over me. And then I buy it, and I buy the book, and I sit down, and I go to crack it, and I'm like, please don't suck. And I open it up, and I'm like, wow, not only does this not suck, this is probably my favorite indie comic that I've read so far. And now I gotta wait until October or November. Well, if you're funding it in September, probably not gonna get it to me until Christmas. Fucking, we're fighting. We're fighting now.
I'll try.
It's just this where it's.
I'll try to make the guy work, but workers' rights and everything. It's not the 80s anymore. I can't take out the whip.
So Royce is not a Big Titty Goth Girl, so don't let yourself be bullied by him.
No, I am definitely not. But I will say this: if a Big Titty Goth Girl comes in and decides to bully you to get it out faster, you probably should.
Crazy.
Yeah, I probably might. See, Joe, I can always feel you dying on the inside because you don't want to talk about spoilers. So I guess I'll move the needle just a little bit, and then I guess I'll talk about another project I am. Not the Snowmobile Riders, we can do that another time, but I do have this one fun webtoons idea I'm cooking up.
There you go.
Hear me out on this one, all right. So, of course, think of like Switzerland or the Finland, those Nordic countries, very prosperous, a lot of money, a lot of people want stuff they have and such. So it's a kingdom, of course. got the kingdom because you know my taste by now.
Right. No.
So
no,
of course,
I don't know
the princess at that land is going to get married to one of the princes of the surrounding kingdoms because the father wants to make an alliance with them. You know how fancy story goes and such. And so, of course, instead of just handing her out, he wants to bring the princess to his country in like the cover of it is that they're asked for like some academic study for like future princes. So they're gonna like get some training about how to manage a country, budgeting, all that stuff. Because of course, if you're gonna get any advice, why not from one of the more prosperous countries on that such? And so of course, he gets all the princes to start coming and such. And so of course, how it was supposed to go is that okay, the princes come, it'll give a chance to meet with all of them, see all of them, get to talk, find out more about the country so that he can choose which ones he prefers. As of course, the prince are gonna lie to the king about everything about their country because why would they? But the princess, he might be able to find out a little bit more. And plus, since they're there for academic studies, there's more of an excuse for her to hang around each one while being labeled as some woo-how girl and such. So that was how it was supposed to go. But unfortunately for her older brother gets assassinated, and no one knows who. But essentially, he leaves a message that basically implies that it was one of the princes who did. So now she kind of has to find out, okay, not only I have to choose a prince to marry, I also got to find out who did it, and it makes sure I don't choose them because they don't know why they did it, but if they did it, it probably for not a good reason. And so it becomes like a good mix of, okay, what we gotta do? Because he has a younger brother who will become the new heir, but I won't say he's weak, but he's kind of like, he haven't hit that point where he feels fully himself yet. So of course, he's gonna need allies by the time he comes to the throne.
Right.
So of course he's kind of having all these conflicts because it's like, okay, so now that I gotta find a murderer, I make sure I don't pick him, and then I gotta, when I'm choosing who I'm gonna marry, I gotta think, okay, this guy is a little bit of a jerk, but his country will be very helpful to make so my brother stay in power. But of course, he's a little bit of a joke. But that
you
guy,
got like some Game of Thrones shit going on here. Like there's political subterfuge and like assassinations, and that actually sounds pretty cool. This is gonna be a webtoons.
Yeah, webtoons, webcomics. It probably won't be released towards like next year, but it's like because like of course I'm always working on two things. So I don't want to like keep on spreading my resources thin before I start going to the jug. So I'm like, okay, let me plan it out, write it out. As you know, I like to write things out. As Relentlessly Bullied Hero 3 is already written. Same with Stormer. Well, Stormer Writers number 3 is halfway written. So I like to do it ahead of time. That was like, okay, I have a plan. I know what I'm gonna do. By the time one of them finishes, we can immediately jump into number 2, and it's already clear cut, crisp, everything. So that's what I'm kind of doing with this one too. It's like, okay, I know I have something good, so I'm gonna just take this time to build it up. So that once I get it going, I can just keep it going, and by the time what I have planned starts to hit the end point, I'll probably have enough support to just use that to keep it going, or however else things go. But yeah, so of course it's like that, and then once you think about another prince, it's like, okay, but I like him better. I feel like he'll actually love me, but I don't think his kingdom will be good enough or be willing to brother. Because if they don't, she basically just leaving her brother to die. And it won't just be her brother, it'll probably be like her mom, any friends he had that's still there if the kingdom collapses. And so it's like, it's all these problems. And so now she gotta have to play detective and such. And what I like about the series that I'm doing the most with it is that you'll probably hear like, okay, she's being, I guess you say, forced or asked you for political marriage. She's probably gonna find some way to break out of it. But I'll promise you right now, no, she's not gonna do that. Oh, I'm just gonna go off the way out of marriage. It's like, no. She she will be picking someone. And it's not gonna be like at gunpoint. Her father's not gonna hold like a crossbow at her head saying pick. Of course, since he's given her options, she gets to at least make a choice. But it's not gonna be like, huh, psych, I don't need a man.
Hold on.
That sounds interesting.
I guess my idea was so fire it caused a disturbance in the universe.
It sounded like the animals were upset. So he might be a minute.
No problem.
Yeah. So this sounds a little bit more serious.
Yeah, I say it's like I said, it does have that mix of comedy and such, because it's not like the investigation to who did it isn't as blatant. Because, like I said, they don't really have much evidence and such, and these are prints on other lands, so it's not like they can just get police, throw one of them into an interrogation room and question them. Because then it's just like, okay, then you got one into trouble of you basically just accuse a royal heir of a crime without evidence. That's gonna piss off all the people in that country, and who knows what that can cause. And so it's kind of like, despite knowing one of them did it, she still has to play the part of guide. So of course, she has all of them, and of course, she gotta make plans of, okay, of course, they're not gonna just obviously tell me who did it, but I gotta plan stuff to get them to reveal stuff about them that can help me get one step closer to find out who did it. Stuff like, okay, well, their ability, this is fantasy, so of course they all have like abilities and such. So it's like, okay, what are their abilities? Who are their retainers? What's the state of their country? Because that can play a role to probably the motive and why. And then what's this and that. And so it's like, it's not like it's 100% serious, like there's no joke. No, there's gonna be like a decent amount of jokes, a decent amount of cool down, like hardiness. Because like I said, you gotta know about them. And so I'd still say it's serious, but it's not no one will ever crack a smile serious. It's okay. The theme of someone just got murdered, we don't care about it, will stay persistent.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have nothing else to add.
No, dude, I'm
Dogs okay, Royce?
Yeah, well, I'm less worried about the dogs, more worried about the people, but yeah, no, the old boy is, anyway, he's old and grumpy and cranky. So, yeah, it was one of those things, if I had to go split them up, I needed to go handle that. So, I didn't. But yeah, they're just retarded. Dude, Hero Darky Dark. I love this book, man. I think it's fantastic. I'm going to keep shouting it out to everybody that I can. I'm going to keep telling people they've got to go check this book out. They've got to go buy this book. I apparently didn't check out the character pieces and the back of the book, which I should have done. And yeah, and now I'm going to go do that because I'm realizing how much I missed. And dude, thank you so much for being here, man. Where can we find you? Where can we find you on the internets?
All right, so of course, I'm Hero Darky Dark. You can find me on Twitter at Hero Darky Dark. I recently created Instagram because one guy talked about my Instagram, so I'm like, I might as well create one now. Why not? So I can, one, think I'm saying, oh hey, thanks for the shout out, and then two, might as well. I can just keep on posting like snippets and art and stuff, and that can give me a following. So yeah, I got Instagram. I'm mostly on Twitter. Not too much on Twitter, but mostly you can just contact me on Twitter. I got a YouTube, but I just mostly just upload whatever I feel like at the moment. I'm trying to get better at doing a more consistent thing, but I'm
tough.
Yeah,
it's
and
tough.
I'll admit I'm a little bit lazy. That's why I want to make sure I have my stuff completed before crowdfunding. So it's like, if anything happens, I can get it done beforehand, and I don't have to rush at the last second. So I can be a little bit lazy. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm trying to get better at it.
No, dude, I totally get it. Dude, thank you so much for being here. Mr. Daniel P. Riley, where can we find you? What do you do?
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. But don't forget to follow on Kickstarter, Relentlessly Bullied Hero #2, and Stormwood Riders. They'll come this year. I'm sorry, continue, Daniel. We didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's a
No,
great
you're good.
shill. I need to get that link down there now.
Yes, quite important. As most people know, I am Daniel P. Riley of whimsyland.org, literary coaching and services. I help creators turn those whimsies into reality through literary coaching or editing or anything else that has to do with the production of novels, comic books, and even doing some film stuff now. It's interesting. It keeps growing. You can find me on the Twix. I do have other social medias out there, but I don't give a crap about them and really only operate on Twix. So use that as you will. And like I said at the beginning of the show, and I will address what Ram said in the chat earlier, I am considering tying in one bundle for a second chance at the ColourPop #1 with campaign #2. So it's probably going to happen, but we'll see.
There you go, man.
Can't wait for it.
And then there is Storm Rail Riders as well. You guys can go back Hero Darky Dark over there on the Kickstarter link. Man, you got so much stuff going on right now. So, Jet Set Radio inspired. Ooh, going out too. That's pretty fucking cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for being here on Iron Age Nights. We did it. Oh, my name's Royce. I'm a Drink with Crazy. You can find me on YouTube at a Drink with Crazy. Doing a full length, awesome videos now, talking about my theories about movies, TV, pop culture in general, and having fun dissecting the theories of stuff. Tomorrow, you guys gotta check it out. I finally, it's been bothering for months. I solved the theory of Pal World. I know where the pals came from. I know how that world operates better than anybody else in that fandom. And I'm gonna prove it tomorrow at noon over on A Drink with Crazy, guys. Go check it out. It's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited for that theory, man. Really excited for that theory. You have no idea.
Can't wait for it.
Hell yeah.
Everybody's like, really, Royce, with the Power World? I'm like, yeah, but Insanion says they bought the book. Awesome.
We know, Hedge. We know.
I know. It's this shtick, Hedge. Like, but, dude, he's old. He forgets from week to week.
Well, forgive him. Yeah, his generation and probably isn't used to technology.
Well played, Hero Darky Dark. Well played.
Good night, Guilty Gearhead. Good night, Anne. Oh, man. God,
I have someone older, and when I see him use a computer, he does it with I type with only my index finger, and it frustrates me so much that if he wasn't older than me and my culture is more like the elders, I would literally throw him to a computer, pull out a lesson plan, say, you gotta know this tonight. If I see you type like that one more time, I might throw hands because it pisses me off so much.
Did you hear that, old people? Stop pissing off Hero Darky Dark. And cheers, everybody.
Big James. Good night, everybody.
Good night.